Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this video. I'm going to be comparing Panasonic V-Log footage to Panasonic LOGC3, which is really an Arri Alexa picture profile that has now been brought to some Panasonic or Lumix cameras. And in this case, I used the Lumix GH7 to capture an identical shot in both standard V-Log as well as LOGC3. And I wanted to compare and contrast those two different picture profiles to see what, if any, benefits you'll get by shooting in LOGC3 as opposed to the standard V-Log that most of you are probably more familiar with if you've been shooting with older camera bodies in the Panasonic lineup. So let's take a look first at this shot. You can see here I've applied a CST, a color space transform. I've set the input color space to Panasonic V Gamut and the input gamma to Panasonic V-Log, and that's just giving us our base conversion here. So here's a quick before and after. That's the footage with no conversion applied, and then here is the converted footage, and it looks pretty good. It does tend to skew a little bit magenta, but we'll come back to that in a moment. And next, let's work backwards here in the timeline, and I'm going to open up this shot. This was captured under the same lighting, same camera settings as the V-Log shot, but this was captured in LOGC3. Again, on the Lumix GH7. And if we just compare these shots right off the bat, we do find some noticeable differences. Namely, the midtones are a little bit brighter in the LOGC3 footage. Otherwise, the picture profiles are fairly comparable. Again, this one is looking on V-Log a little bit darker. If we want to just add a really basic curve to sort of brighten that up, that's going to bring us more into this territory. And when you flip back and forth, there's not a huge amount of difference between these images now. So for those of you that don't have the capability to shoot LOGC3, maybe you're on an older camera body and you could only shoot V-Log, I wouldn't worry about that. The picture profiles are very similar in a lot of ways. LOGC3 might have a little bit of an edge, but with a couple of minor adjustments, you could get the V-Log looking really similar. And honestly, neither one of them is really an exact match for the Alexa 35 footage, which I'm going to compare here. So let's take a look at this shot here. This was captured on the Alexa 35 in log C4, not C3, so slightly different profile, but it's still giving you that overall Alexa look and Alexa color that you might imagine. And under this lighting, which was at 5600, the log C4 footage looks significantly warmer. So that's the first thing that we can notice right off the bat. Obviously, the Alexa 35 sensor is able to retain a ton of detail in the highlights, and it's just going to deliver a very different image overall. So I'll just grab a still here and we can pull that up full screen and just take a look at just how different that image really is. So you can see pretty clearly that just shooting in a LOGC3 picture profile doesn't automatically give you an Alexa look. So to demonstrate that even a little bit more, what we could do here is apply a white balance adjustment. Let's just do an auto white balance here. I'm just going to click on the color chart right in the center of the white square. And that gave us a bit of an adjustment. I'll just toggle that on before and after. So that's kind of neutralizing this image a little bit more. Now let's do the exact same thing on the LOGC3 footage. And in this case, the change was less dramatic, but it did pull some of the magenta out of the midtones. But again, even with those kind of automatic white balance adjustments, we look at these two shots and they are totally different. So if we want, we could take things a step further and just really manually correct these images just to kind of neutralize both of them. I'm just basically doing this by eye very quickly, but you could see we've gone already from here to here, which is a much more neutral starting point for this shot. And then we're going to do the exact same thing to correct any white balance here. I'm going to push some more green into the image overall, and I will warm it up just slightly. And I'm just trying to find kind of a middle ground between the Alexa footage and the V-Log footage. So let's grab another still here from the Alexa, and we'll wipe that across now and see the difference. So now we're getting a lot closer. These aren't a perfect match by any means yet, but they're getting there. And you can certainly manually correct your shot further, whether it is shot in LOGC3 or V-Log, to be more Alexa-like. So I'm going to make a couple more tweaks here. Just in terms of the gamma adjustment, I'm going to push a little bit more green into the skin tones here. Just try to make them a little bit closer to that Alexa footage. and we're not quite there yet. The highlights are still a little bit off, but we're getting closer. So with some manual adjustments, you could definitely get your LOGC3 footage or V-Log footage from your Panasonic camera looking more Alexa-like. It's never going to be an exact match because you're shooting on a totally different sensor, and the color science is different even if you're using the LOGC3 profile. But hopefully this illustrates that just shooting LOGC3 doesn't give you that Alexa look automatically, but it is still a great picture profile and probably the one I would recommend shooting if you do have it installed. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe on YouTube and stay tuned for more videos like this.